stay with me for a moment. Don't scroll away. I know you've been moving quickly, trying to keep up with everything and everyone around you. Life moves fast and sometimes we rush through it without giving ourselves even a moment to breathe. But right now, I need you to slow down for just a few minutes because what I'm about to share is something I have never truly said out loud before. Not in this way, not this openly. Most people think they know me. They know the headlines, the rockets, the companies, the public image people talk about. They know the stories the media repeats again and again. But they don't really know the person behind all of it. They don't know the man who sometimes sits alone late at night staring at the ceiling, wondering if anyone would still choose him if he had nothing at all. If he were simply himself without the achievements, without the success, without the extraordinary things people associate with his name. I've built things people once believed were impossible. I've helped send rockets into space, pushed electric vehicles into the mainstream, and challenged the way the world thinks about energy, technology, and the future. People call me a visionary. They say I see possibilities that others cannot see yet. But here's the part they never talk about: the cost of carrying dreams that large. The quiet moments that come when the cameras are gone and the noise fades away. The heaviness of constantly reaching for the future while forgetting how to live in the present. When your life becomes focused on changing the world, sometimes you forget how to enjoy the simple things that make life feel human. Simple things like being understood, being chosen, being held not because of what you can build or create, but simply because of who you are when everything becomes still. And I'm speaking to you because I believe you understand this feeling more than most people do. I think you've spent years being the strong one in your life. The person everyone relies on. The one who holds things together when everything else starts falling apart. You've been the giver, the caretaker, the one who somehow finds more love to give even when you feel completely drained inside. And somewhere along the way you started wondering something quietly inside your heart. You started wondering if anyone truly sees you. Not just what you do for them, not just how you make their lives easier, but you, the person who carries deep emotions, the person who feels things intensely, the person who loves so strongly that sometimes it scares people away. I want you to stay with me because there's more I want to share. For most of my life I've been chasing the future. Always focused on what comes next. The next breakthrough, the next project, the next impossible challenge that everyone else says cannot be done. But lately I've been thinking about something different. I've been thinking about what it actually means to be present. To stop running for a moment and look at the life happening right now. Because the truth is I've spent years running. Building, creating, solving problems, reaching for the next big idea. Always moving forward. But sometimes you start asking yourself why. You ask yourself if all of it is just another way of trying to prove something, to the world, to others, or maybe even to yourself. You ask yourself whether all the success and recognition truly fills the quiet spaces inside you. And sometimes the answer is uncomfortable. Sometimes the answer is that even when the world sees you, you can still feel invisible in the ways that matter most. I know you understand that feeling too. That moment when you realize you gave everything to people who never truly understood you. People who appreciated what you offered but never fully recognized who you were beneath it all. Maybe they loved your kindness, your strength, your loyalty. But they were afraid of your depth. Maybe they needed you to stay strong but they couldn't hold you when you needed softness. And eventually you learned something painful. You learned how to hide parts of yourself. You learned how to make yourself smaller, quieter, easier for others to handle. You started apologizing for feeling too deeply, for wanting something real, for being emotional, passionate, intense. But listen carefully because this matters. You were never too much. Your love was never wrong. Your depth was never a flaw. The people who couldn't handle it weren't rejecting you. They were revealing their own limitations. They were showing you the boundaries of what they were capable of understanding. And that realization can hurt, but it can also set you free. Because it reminds you that not everyone is meant to walk beside you in the deeper parts of life. I've spent time in rooms with presidents, billionaires, and some of the most powerful people in the world, and yet there were moments when I still felt completely alone. Power doesn't protect you from loneliness. Success doesn't fill silence. Achievements don't hold you at night when you feel tired, uncertain, or human. Sometimes what you really want is simple. You want someone to see past the armor you built around yourself and recognize the person who still feels vulnerable underneath it. The person who still hopes for something genuine. And I think that's where you and I meet. In that quiet space between what the world sees and what we actually feel inside. The space between the roles we play and the truth we carry in our hearts. You've been playing a role too, haven't you? The strong one, the reliable one, the person who always seems to have everything figured out. But inside you wonder if anyone will ever see beyond that role. If anyone will love you not despite your wounds, but because those wounds shaped who you are today. Because they made you stronger, deeper, more compassionate than most people could ever imagine. There's something I learned while building things people once called impossible. The hardest part isn't engineering or mathematics or solving technical problems. The hardest part is believing something is possible when everyone around you says it isn't. The hardest part is holding on to a vision when the world keeps telling you to let go. And right now, maybe that's what you need too. Not more strength because you've already proven how strong you are. What you need is permission. Permission to believe that your story isn't finished yet. Permission to believe that the kind of love you've always hoped for might still exist somewhere in your future. You don't have to apologize for who you are anymore. The right person won't ask you to become smaller. The right person will recognize your depth and choose you because of it. Not despite your past, but because your past shaped the person you've become. The person who stayed loving even when it would have been easier to become cold. The person who kept believing even when hope felt fragile.